let's begin with what you need to know, because I was so excited yesterday to see the second chapter of the preseason of Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, a generational talent, as he was described earlier this week by Cardinals GM Steve Keim. It did not look generational last night. 3 for 8. He was sacked a couple of times, once for a safety. He was flagged twice for a false start because he clapped too abruptly. He was too halting in his clapping while he was trying to call for the football. It just was not a good night for Kyler Murray. And look, not every night was ever going to be a great night for him. He's going to have to deal with some adversity. Big Cat, the adversity came last night against the Raiders.
I'm here to overreact to some preseason games with you, Mike. I think this is Kyler Murray being too short. Anytime he has a bad game, we're just going to say he's too short.
Stop.
No, but in honesty, I don't really care about the preseason performances. You obviously want to see your quarterback do well, especially number one pick, a guy who everyone's like, how's he going to fit in the NFL? But the spin zone is 3 for 8 is an homage to Josh Rosen, who took, Kyler Murray took his job. That was a very Josh Rosen-esque line, and I don't really care how a quarterback looks or a guy looks in preseason. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. It's preseason. What I do care about, I don't know if you caught the awkward interview he did on the sideline where he was asked what his goals were, personal goals were for the season, and I think his quote was, that's where I keep those inside, and it was a very awkward moment. And look, I'm not going to beat up on a kid who's 21, 22, and just coming in the NFL, but if you can't deal with the media, it's going to make your life a little bit more difficult. And we've seen it with many quarterbacks where if they can't give good answers. Kyler Murray had that Dan Patrick interview that was very weird, Super Bowl week. That's something he can fix right away. That football stuff will come along. He'll eventually get up to game speed, and I still am buying Kyler Murray stock. But the media stuff, fix it right now, because it's not very hard to just give answers and not have this uncomfortableness every time you're on camera.
Well, and it doesn't happen every time he's on camera, but when he is naturally uncomfortable, it does come through. And last night he was uncomfortable because he had a bad performance. This is a guy who has not encountered much football adversity. He got a dose of it last night. And even though it doesn't count, it's nationally televised, you're out there, your pride's on the line. And a week after he passed the eyeball test, and that's all I'm looking for in the preseason from a new player, does he look like he belongs on an NFL field? He looked like he belonged last week against the Chargers. This week he didn't look like he belonged, and I think that's what adds to the discomfort. And you're right, it was an awkward interview. He didn't make eye contact with Lisa Salters. He wouldn't look at the camera. Not that he should look at the camera in that setting, but he just didn't know what to do. He was like all over the place, and he is only 22. He just turned 22, and I think that he's going to have to learn how to project when he hits those moments of adversity. How do you project a calmness, a confidence, a lack of discomfort? And you're right. That's something he can control, and he's going to need reps to do it, just like he's going to need reps on the football field. Let's hear from him after the game. He was asked to react to his performance on Thursday night. Here's what he had to say.
Everybody felt ugly on the sideline after, the first four drives or whatever it was, but that's just, it's part of it. It's good for us to see that. It's good for us to feel that. And, obviously, like I said, we're very vanilla right now, so it's tough. It's hard to judge, but I think when we get out there, we're ready to roll.
Yeah, the problem is the offense is vanilla, but also the defenses they're facing are vanilla. Now, I don't know, maybe John Gruden, the Raiders head coach, loaded up a little something extra for Kyler Murray because that was one of the guys that Gruden was believed to be linked to, and if he can knock him down a peg, maybe it looks better for the Raiders to have not gotten him. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that John Gruden maybe added a little more game planning to this one than you would ordinarily see in a preseason game, just to kind of take a little bit of the steam out of the Kyler Murray Express.
Well, how about this fact, Mike? The Cardinals are a really, really bad team. They were the first pick for a reason. They were really bad last year. They will be bad again this year. So there will be times where Kyler Murray will not look good, and it won't all be about Kyler Murray. It will be about his offensive line. It will be about the fact that he doesn't have a ton of weapons out there. So I joke about how I overreact in the preseason. I get my practice in because I like to overreact every single week. But I really don't care about Kyler Murray not looking great last night. It is his second preseason game. He's going to figure it out. He's got to figure out both the football stuff and figuring out a way to just do the canned answers that really, when you answer a question, athletes are great at it, where they answer a question, but they haven't really answered the question. Once he gets that down, he will be off and running.
Yeah, and I am rooting for him. I hope he's going to be great, but part of it is going to be the reality that it's not going to come as easily as it did in high school and college, where you just show up and you dominate. It's not going to be that way at the next level, and I think he's starting to figure that out.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.